What's up?
And we're live. We're
How
live
you
on
doing?
YouTube. What's
Let's
up, Champagne
go.
Rain? Appreciate you being here. First comment since I can see comments. But yeah, I usually wait a couple minutes, let people get in a little bit because I know notifications don't go out right away because, YouTube loves everybody.
Yeah, no, that's
They're our
fair.
best friend in the
I do the
whole
same on
world.
TikTok. I like sit there awkwardly for like probably a couple minutes before people start coming in.
Yeah, and then if you leave it up later and people go to
Okay.
click on it, they're like, well, this is fun. And then they click off of it like, you're being weird. Okay, got
Yeah,
this.
no, that's
But
fair.
no, I appreciate you being here. Seriously do. Welcome to the Elsewhere podcast. Where else would you be?
I appreciate you having me, Kat. I'm
N-
super excited for this.
No,
And
I've been tracking you down for a minute. Like,
let's go. I'm trying.
no,
Yeah, I know. But I'm glad that we're here. We made it happen.
we made it, and I'm thrilled because like the whole purpose. I don't know. You probably don't know much about this podcast specifically, but it started. My community made me do it. I blame them,
Okay.
and we support artists. We support especially like independent artists and content creators and reactors and YouTubers and authors and the whole nine yards. And all I've ever wanted to do is just have like normal conversations with not so normal people and just
Yeah.
like talk about all the things. Like, I don't care if it's like what's in your fridge today or if it's, let's see, what's in your fridge, what kind of pets you have, some random cool thing I mean, whatever it is, it's just a conversation.
Yeah.
Kind
No, I
of
like that.
get people to get to know you a little bit better, especially when it's like smaller independent artists. They need that,
True.
to
True,
kind
true,
of
true.
connect with an audience.
Yeah.
What's up, Jennifer?
Well, I
But
think it's a beautiful thing.
no, it's fun though. It's like the most fun thing. And to be honest, the fact that people actually take their time out of their busy schedules to talk to me means everything.
Yeah, I'm just thankful that you had me on, to be honest. Thankful you made time for me in your schedule.
Oh no, I mean I'm thrilled because here's the thing for anybody that's watching in the future and anybody who's watching right now. This is Mike Squires down there. He is doing all of the things. So what's funny is that I don't know, how did I see you? I found you through probably some artists that you work with.
Yeah, that's how most people find me.
And then I started like I followed you for some reason. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." So I follow because that's what I do. As I follow people, I'm like, "All right, let's check out what they're doing." And I'd see you post stuff and I was like, "You know what? The stuff that you post is actually really interesting." Like whether it's visually interesting or, your graphics, your videos, and then realizing just how much you interact with people and how
I
much
try.
you do with the artists and the fact that you're up on stage and the fact that you're doing all of the things like I said.
Yeah,
I was just like, "Wow, this is really cool."
I appreciate that. Yeah, what I've learned though too, and I'm trying to get better, it kind of makes me a little bit of a confusing person, uh, because I'm doing a bunch of like different things. So it's like, I came in the game as a music video director. That's how I started. And along the way, I started producing music. And then as I was producing music, that started getting some traction. And then I got an opportunity to go on tour. And they were like, hey, can you do photos? So I had to like learn photography real quick. Uh, so yeah, and now I'm at a point too, and I've been enjoying performing, but I'm a producer, so I'm like a music producer, right? So I don't sing, I don't rap, I guess yet. If I was ever to go down that path, I'm like not against it, but where I'm at right now, I'm fine where I'm at right now. But it's weird performing as a producer. You know what I mean? It's like I don't see that many people who do that,
Right.
like outside of like DJs, right? I feel like DJs do that a lot. And then there's DJ Khaled, but I don't know if that's exactly it. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
No, I completely get that because here's a fun fact. I built a community and I do a lot of modding on YouTube
Okay.
and I moderate their chats, I moderate Twitch and all kinds of fun stuff. So I started a community because it was artist based specifically. And you can't like promote other artists in an artist Discord because it's a whole thing just because it's about them, right? It's supposed to be
Yeah,
about
no, it
them.
makes sense.
So I made a hub where everybody could post all of the things that are going on and everybody could kind of come centralized and do that. And then they pushed me to start the podcast. Well, then I had someone doing my graphics for me and they're no longer around. So I decided to teach myself how to make graphics, which I've
Yeah.
been doing. And then I decided the other day I'm going to make reels.
No, it's really awesome. So did you do all the graphics and stuff that I'm looking at right now?
The background is it's been I've had that one for a long time, like with the smoke and stuff. I actually
Okay.
had my friend as an artist. She is an amazing artist, and she also designs like merch for artists and things like that. She did the Elsewhere logo for me. I
Yeah.
own logo.
I like the logo a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and it's really cool on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Have it on t-shirt. Check out the merch, everybody.
Everyone go check out the merch. You got it. Gotta do it.
But like when it comes to, for example, the thumbnail that I sent, like the
Yeah, that's
Instagram
all
post,
you.
I did that. Mhm.
Yeah, and the video you said.
Mhm.
No, it's good. I think that's one of the most important things, like, especially when you're running your own kind of business show, to be as self-sufficient as possible because, it's hard waiting on other people because,
Yep.
if you were to outsource that video, it might have taken like a day or something to get it back when it's like, I don't know how long it took you, but you were able to get it almost instantaneous because you just did it because you knew you had to do it right then and there.
Exactly. And I've gotten in a position where I didn't know how to do it. And I'm like, "Well, what am I supposed to do now?" I kinda got relying on, someone else doing it for me, and I have to turn around and do it myself, and I'm like, "Well, I'll just do it I'll just do it. I'll do it when I want to." I had all the graphics for all of the, upcoming podcasts done, like, 2 weeks ago. I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm not playing around with this." So I
No,
did all the things then, but it's like having to wait on someone else, like, I'm on my timeline, like
and I got a lot of respect for you, like, even taking steps to learn because a lot of people don't do that, and I think that's one thing I'm always challenging myself to do personally
mm,
is to make sure that I'm learning new things. Even like this last week, I've taken on like the random things, but so I went skiing yesterday. This is like, and I haven't been skiing like I've gone that was the third time I've gone this season, but I haven't gone like since a decade. I haven't been. So yesterday we go with my mom. I was with my mom. So and my mom is an incredible skier. If you saw my mom ski, it's just like she's 60 something years old and she is just cruising down the mountain. It's just unbelievable sight.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I got to post something about it because she really is great. Um, so anyways, we get to the top and I'm like, okay, I'm down to try one of these intermediate trails. And I get to the top, the intermediate trail's closed. It's only the Black Diamond. So my mom's giving me the option. She's like, we either go down the chairlift or go down the Black Diamond. And I skied to the top of the Black Diamond. I'm kind of like looking over. I'm like, oh no, mom, I don't know about this one. And I just like was begging her. I was like, listen, because my mom's a really great skier. I was like, please just show me how to do this one as easy as possible. Please, please, please.
Push.
So she's like, and keep my mom is pure professional. So she's like pizzaing down the thing, just making it mad easy. But I'm just comparing this skiing story to like just pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and learning something, right? So
Yep.
I was terrified. I've never been more nervous than yesterday, but then once I did it, I went down to like 7 times yesterday. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So, but the first time I was up there, I was just like shaking in my boots.
Yeah,
So
it's I mean, I don't know about physical stuff. I'm not really built for that, but it's the way that's how I feel like people should do. I think people need to be like you said already when you were saying specifically that people need to be self-sufficient. They need to be able to do basically all the things that they need to do in order to progress with their business. Like I've always thought that if you were going to be a boss in any way, shape, or form, you better be able to do every job you ask someone else to do.
no, that's
Unless
real.
it's really specialized. Like if you're hiring somebody to do tile and you don't know how to do tile, I mean, I understand that.
That's like a one-off thing, kind of though. You know
Right,
what I mean?
but
But
when it comes to something you're doing consistently, and I think that applies
oh yeah,
to and especially the people that we are around, the people that I talk
oh
to, the people that you work with, they should be able to do everything themselves, but they can now maybe delegate to someone their own hustling, their own promoting, their own marketing. They should be able to do their own, get an iPhone and shoot a music video if they need to.
yeah.
They should be able to set up their own equipment. I mean, there's all of these different aspects of it, and I think that you can do nothing but get better
You
for
gotta
the
be like a Swiss
knowledge.
you gotta be like a Swiss Army knife, right?
Mhm.
You can't just have that one blade, you gotta have the screwdriver, gotta have the everything. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because that's what's gonna make you better and more self-sufficient down the line. It's also gonna save you money because you don't have to outsource it. You can just do it
Exactly.
yourself. So, yeah.
Thank you, Jess, for posting his link in the chat.
I
Appreciate
appreciate
that.
that, guys. Yeah, super, super appreciate that.
No, because I mean, the thing is that what I don't think that people might realize, like if they go to your YouTube, they might not realize that the amount of things that you're doing are not reflected necessarily on your channels.
No, that's fair
What
too.
you're doing is reflected on everyone else's channels.
That's real. And I appreciate you saying that too, because sometimes like, and I've made a more focus on the last year to kind of, focus on myself and my brand and try to build myself up. That's why I dropped an album. That's why I'm making a lot of Mike Squires plays, because not that I don't need like the shine per se, but I just want to put some time into myself and see what happens. But I do have music videos with other artists that I've done like millions of views. I've produced songs for other artists like million, but you wouldn't even know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I mean, if you look at the credit, like obviously it says directed by Mike Squires, but you know, at surface value, most people just like watch the video and they're like, "Oh, that was a dope video." You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Which is like
Exactly.
just part of the game, you know?
Well, until you start talking to the people that are in the credits, you don't think to look at the credits.
Yeah,
Until you
no,
start getting capped by YouTube for copyright content, you don't think to look at the licensing on every video that you're going to look at while you're
yeah,
live. Like you don't think about it. But, I've talked to enough people where I know what goes behind the scenes because 90% of everything I do is not in a podcast.
yeah,
Because I'm supporting people, I'm running their servers, I'm helping them set them up, I'm, promoting music, I'm showing up just to say hi, I'm hooking them up with people to help them out, I'm making them graphics, I'm sending them YouTube banners, like
doing it
that's
all.
and that's what you're doing is like you're doing all of the things, but you're doing it on behalf of someone else. So I don't blame you
Yeah.
for taking the time to like build up your brand and your stuff because I've seen you've increased your posting like on Instagram and stuff like that.
Oh my goodness. I am posting 4 times a day on TikTok right now. And it's actually at first it was a little bit of a struggle, but now I have so many drafts saved up that I just feel invincible. I can just keep posting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't really think about it. I spend a couple hours like editing the stuff, putting it there, saving to the draft, and then when it needs to go. So that's what I'm trying to do is I didn't even I could tell you about this big project I'm working on, but right now, before that big project, I'm just trying to build up my TikTok as much as possible. But
Right.
can I tell you about this big project I'm working on?
No, feel free.
So I haven't told that many people and I haven't said it publicly. I've kind of hinted at it, but basically my challenge starting this year is I want to do a song with an artist from all 50 states in the US. And
Yeah, I
I'm
saw
really
you post something about that.
yeah, and I'm really, really excited for it. I've got the ball rolling and I've had a few people reach out from those posts and whatnot that, I listen to their stuff and I'm like, oh, I know I can make a great song with this person.
Right.
But I want to, it's tricky because there's a lot of things that go into this. One, it's like I want to have enough of a buffer that when I get started, I can stay going. You know what I mean? I don't want to just do one and then be inconsistent. So I kind of got to stack a little bit in the beginning.
Right.
Then simultaneously, I want to make sure that I leave room for other artists that happen along the way because I want that to happen. I want there to be like on top of the initial push that I'm doing, I want there to be an organic element where it's like, I found this artist on TikTok, let's make a song. You know what I mean? So
Right.
that's my goal is hopefully to find some new artists too. And, if regardless of where they are in their career, help shine some light on them too. And then collectively put it all together. You know what I mean? So then
Right.
they got a representation from every state. I think that's really cool.
Now I tagged a whole bunch of people in your comments. I was
I
tagged me. I know
appreciate that.
and I actually talked to he used to be my co-host. Skulls is one of my really, really good friends. And I just talked to him a
Okay.
little bit ago. He's in Connecticut. And I
Oh, wow.
asked him if he knew who you were. And he said that
Yeah,
his friend Joe,
Joe.
who dances, knows of you through Ian Matthews.
Ian Matthew. Wow.
Yeah.
Ian's the man.
So
Ian,
that's like 3 degrees of separation there, but close.
no, I was in the studio with Ian last Monday. So not even a week ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's like word of mouth. Like people, it's interesting because I'm like,
That's
we always used
crazy.
to give Skulls all kinds of crap because we're like, you're in Connecticut. Like you blinked, oops, you're out of Connecticut now.
Yeah. No, it's
Like
a quick drive, but I'm very proud to be from here. And
so is
I
he.
yeah, I don't know what it is with us in our Connecticut pride. I really do love it here. And I've had an opportunity to, I've toured a lot, so I've had an opportunity to see a lot of the country. And I've had even outside, I've toured Europe a few times. And I think it actually made because you know what I mean? I could see a lot of other places and like, oh, I could see myself living here. I could see myself living here. But after touring, I feel that it just made my love for Connecticut that much stronger. So I really, and I have a lot of people here rooting for me. I got a lot of hometown love. So it's like, I like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I grew up here. I have a lot of friends here, and I have a
It's
really good
home.
sense of community here. So I don't want to leave.
No, it's home for you. I get that completely. I
Yeah.
really do. Like, for example, he's working locally. Like he went from
Okay.
trying to do things online, and he actually they created this like collaboration inside their hometown,
Okay.
and they're doing like culture for a change or what is that? Oh, I can't remember what it is. He's gonna kill me when he finds out that I can't remember, but it doesn't matter.
All good.
They're doing local stuff, which I'm really big on. I was talking about this yesterday with Kalani on the Beat. I'm like, people have got to focus locally. You got to really appreciate love and be there for your community because
Yeah.
we've forgotten about the local venues and the local people who are just, showing you what they can do because we're
Yeah.
too busy looking out everywhere else, And so I thought that was really cool, especially because it's in Connecticut. I was like, that's really neat, especially that people know the local scene and stuff like that. Cause that's where the real heart of the city is like in those, like the DJ shows and stuff like that. When they're just playing and they're throwing it together, that's where you get like the real feel for the music in the area,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
No, and
But
I love to give back to my community too, wherever I can, because I mean, I've been through a bunch of situations and Connecticut's had my back,
right.
so I'm thankful to be there, and wherever I can help, I'm always down. And I try to be around in the community and whatever I can do. I just like to be there and help. Yeah.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Your path started after a fire,
Well,
sort
so
of.
I would say, so I was doing video prior to my house burning down, but my house burning down sped up the process. You know what I mean? If I was going 5 miles per hour before, it cranked me all the way to 100 because it went from being this, I want to try to do this with my life. Keep in mind, I'm like 14. You know what I mean? So like 14, I probably picked up my first camera at like 12, right? So I guess that's kind of where it actually started. So I picked up my first camera because my parents had a camera, and I played soccer back in the day, and I asked my dad to film one of my soccer games. So it was like the playoff game. Not only did we win, I scored the winning goal. I
Oh,
scored the winning
nice.
goal. Oh, would have been such a nice video clip. So when I go to look at the camera, it's my dad cheering, and the camera is just facing the grass. It literally is just like the entire time you hear him cheering, but it's just like there's no
Oh,
footage of the game. I'm like, he wasn't paying attention. He was so into the game that he just didn't film anything. Uh, so after that, I just like started doing chores around the house. I remember getting like $100 camera, but I was like, Mom, I need to buy a camera. Like, help me, help me. So I was doing chores around the house, whatever, mowing the lawn, whatever had to be done. My mom got me this camera. So that's kind of how I actually started getting into video. That's like the early days. So, there's a lot of stuff in between there. But so from uh, when my house burned down, it no longer became oh, I want to make this happen. It's, I need to make this happen because, my parents are split. So my mom's a single mom. You know what I mean? My dad's definitely supportive. He's in the picture. Uh, but my mom is like, she handles us a lot of the time.
right.
You know what I mean? So me and my sister, that's what I mean by us. And yeah, like I just wanted to help my mom, and the way that I did that is, I knew immediately I had to upgrade my equipment, right? And
Right.
even in mind, the only thing that I had after my house burned down was the outfit I was wearing and whatever was in my backpack. So yeah, no, it's crazy. I don't mind talking about it. I've talked about it a lot. But yeah, so I landscaped that entire summer. I landscaped
Mhm.
that entire I was and I got like a reminder or something recently, but I just remember being covered in poison ivy. I just like there's like a picture of me like sitting in front of a fan, covered in
Oh,
calamine lotion, just yeah. But anyway, so I landscaped that entire summer, And I don't know how much I made, but I made enough to buy a used laptop, which is actually somewhere in this room. I still have it. Used laptop, and a camera. And that's kind of where I started. And I started shooting some of my music videos with my homies. And then those got posted on blogs because blogs used to be like the it spot. You know
Right,
what I mean?
exactly.
So once that happened, more people started reaching out. They're like, oh, who shot this video? Keep in mind, I'm like 15, 16, right? So this is like one of my earlier shoots. My mom had to drive me to it because I wasn't even driving yet. We had to drive like 40 minutes. She drove most of my early shoots. And that's what I'm saying. My parents have always been really supportive, but some of my early shoots, my mom literally dropped me off because I not only could I even if I wanted to drive, I couldn't drive because I wasn't old enough. Um, so I started shooting music videos like that. And then, obviously as I was shooting videos, I was getting better with each video because I was learning, what can I do to better my craft? And then I was always continuing to do music videos. I started getting music videos that were cranking up in views, 1,000 views turned to 10,000 views, 10,000 to 100. And now I just got videos with a bunch of millions, which is still insane to think about. But I also got hired at a music venue. I worked at Tuxedo Junction in Danbury, and that's a crazy story in itself. There's a whole HBO documentary about that where they licensed footage from me recently, but that was like a decade ago.
Wow.
Uh, yeah, so I've had this weird, like, you know, it's not like I've always wanted to be in the music industry that I've known, but it's like I worked hard. I definitely worked hard, but I also simultaneously sometimes feel like I kind of just like fell into this, right? Where it's like I started and I just didn't stop. I just kept going and just exploring, reaching out to people. That's another thing too. Like there was a lot of times where was not only were people reaching out to me, but I was also reaching out to people. You know what I mean? I think people forget that about opportunity, where it's like opportunities don't always come to you. You have to go out and get them,
Oh, don't I
So
know it.
yeah, no, and it's a grind because I remember sending out hundreds of messages and maybe getting one response back, and they're just like, "Well, we'll think about it." You know
Right.
what I mean? So, and keep in mind, I wasn't charging a lot for videos. I was doing $50, $100 a video when I started, right?
Wow.
So, yeah, and now it's just elevated to like a full career, and I'm just forever thankful for that. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I've ever. So there was one day that I did caddy. I tried to caddy, and I couldn't do it. I just was too soft, couldn't make it happen, which is super ironic in hindsight because right now my sister is a caddy. My sister's a caddy, and she's one of like very few female caddies in Connecticut. And she's gotten like all these, like my sister's like a really good caddy. So,
Yeah. It's
you know,
actually a skill. People don't know that, but it actually is a skill.
oh, she's so good. She does like, oh, I don't listen, I don't even know enough, but I know from what I hear from her work, it's like always good. She's like the rangefinder, whatever. I don't even know, but I just think it's funny in hindsight that like, I felt like I was too soft in the day, and my sister's like, she's like, "What are you talking about?" So no, I got a lot of respect. She's really good at it. But other than that, the point I was about to say before I got sidetracked is I don't feel like I've worked a day in my life because I just absolutely love what I do, and I don't take that for granted either because I also know that if I stop, this all stops.
Right.
So got to keep going.
And see, that's kind of my thing is like this year I turned 40.
Okay.
And so my kids, I have one in college. I've got one that's going to be 18 in June. I've got one that's 9, almost got out of kid jail, but I'm back in it. Um, so I've been raising my kids. I'm a single mom. I work full time. I work home from home now, but like boring. Medical
Yeah.
billing, pharmacy billing, boring. And I'm an expert at what I do. I'm an expert. I've done it for 20 plus years. However, I don't get paid at an expert level. I've
Mm,
like my career was plateaued because I don't have the degree I need to be a supervisor, which I don't really want to. I just want to get paid for my work.
yeah.
And I don't. I get paid like what you can make work like we're working at Hobby Lobby. They get paid 50 cents less an hour. It's ridiculous. So
Yeah.
I just ever since I discovered like YouTube, and then I told you like I was, starting to mod for people, and then I was starting to create my community and then I created the podcast, I just was like, I want to change. I want something different. I want to change something. So 90% of what I do is behind the scenes. It's behind in the background. It's not something I talk about. It's just, the people that if if I'm talking to you, you know what I mean? Like if we're talking about
Yeah.
something and we're working on something, then that's between us. But I'm like, man, I could really do something different. And maybe if everything pans out, I can provide for my family somehow doing what I want to do, which is the networking, the, behind the scenes, the, just gaining the knowledge and being a part of something that I absolutely love. That's the dream. Now,
Yeah. And the thing is,
it's attainable,
and you may not even realize it now, but you're
Mhm.
already in the process of doing it, and you are doing it because the hardest part for anybody is just getting started. Because
Absolutely.
once you get started, like every time you even just this, every time you do one of these, it just adds to the resume, it gets bigger and bigger, and you just keep going. And then all of a sudden it just levels up. You find ways that how can I bring this to the next level? You know what I mean? You're always
Yep.
got to be looking to level up. And yeah, the key is just to keep going and just keep in your mind. It's like, what can I do to do better than I did last time?
No, absolutely. Like, I mean, and it's the little things too sometimes, because sometimes you don't need to revamp every single thing that you're doing, right? I don't need to revamp my entire branding just because I'm like, well, maybe I'm a little stagnant. No, I could just move some things around. Yes, by the way, Wallflower, I do know that my K is crooked. That there. It's on my poop list because it's like the lights don't work that well and I don't care. And then I put something on top of it and it may go, and I just don't care. So it's crooked. But it could be just like shifting like I did today. I literally had so many more to add. I shifted my flag up this far. Like the amount of a CD. I shifted it
Yeah.
up that high because it was in the way. I needed more room.
Yeah, no, I feel
It's
it.
something small, but it's a step forward. It's a step up. It's a step different. It's putting the poster from the concert I went to 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
It's putting, stuff that people send me up. It's all this stuff. It hits different. It feels better. It's something. When
It
Truth gave
happens
me
little by little.
right. He gave me his equipment. I couldn't afford mine, but he got his new equipment. So when he flew out here to come visit, he brought me all his equipment.
That's a
I
beautiful thing. That's a
still
very
don't
good
know.
friend too.
No, me and him are actually really, really close. He'll probably stop in at some point because he does that.
Oh, let's
He's
go.
an artist and a YouTuber. He's in Atlanta.
That's a
But
beautiful
I don't even know what these buttons do.
thing.
No, the dials. I don't know what to do, but you
Yeah.
know what? I'm gonna do a tutorial at some point and figure it out. It just hasn't come up that I need him. You know?
Yeah. No, and that's
So
what I'm saying, just learning along the way.
and that's how I feel about it. Like, and that's we seem to be saying the same thing because one of the things I respect about you the most, and the reason I wanted so bad to talk to you, and this is the God's honest truth, is because, for lack of a better way to put it, I see you. I see what you're doing. I see just how much work you're putting out there. I see how many different projects you're working on. I see the hustle and I see you loving it and loving every moment of it. At least it comes off. And if fake it till you make it, well, guess what? You're pulling it off.
Could
But I'm
never do.
just saying, I literally, I see you.
I appreciate that. Listen, that means more to me more than anything because I am trying. I am trying. I couldn't be trying any harder. I'm anything I can do to try to level it up. I am, but so it means a lot. It means a lot because I've gone a lot of my career as someone who hasn't always been seen. You know what I mean? So, and that's part of my big effort is, trying to bring myself to the forefront and just yo, I could do this. Just
Right.
give me a chance, please.
And
So
you're at the level where you're a go-to. Like when people are like, "Oh, who should I wonder who," you're a go-to. Like you're right on the top of the list.
I appreciate
Especially with
that.
the people that you work with, who are
Yeah.
very well respected. And there's a couple of them that every time they put something out, I'm like, "Seriously, another one?" And not in a bad way, like in a
No, it's
my
just that's
my
yeah, no,
playlist
I
is
get
too
it.
full. Stop.
Yeah.
Calm down.
I got two things I want to comment on. I want to comment on the fake it till you make it, and then I want to comment on my circle, right? I'll do the
Mhm.
fake it till you make it. So I actually used to be a part of an artist team that the artists that he portrayed and who he actually were two different people. and I could not stand it.
I
It
don't blame
was
you.
yeah, and it's crazy because the artist would go, and I haven't worked with him in a long, long time, and I'm not gonna name drop it because there's no point. But he would just go on stage and he'd be like, "My whole team is 3 people. Keep in mind there's 15 of us standing like next to the stage." And we just joke with each other. He's like, "Which 2 you think he's talking about?" It's like, and it's funny because I ended up quitting. I ended up quitting that team. It was kind of inevitable because just how he was treating people just got me. And what's funny? I said this the other day, but you can be inspired by bad situations because wow, I was inspired to never
Yep.
ever be like that guy. So
Inspiration in the negative, like to do the opposite of that. Our parents inspire us. Someone bad actor on the street, we're like, what the
my
that
mom
I mean,
has
that
a
is just as powerful.
yeah, because my mom has a saying too, like that quote, because she's like, if I do I forget the exact, but it was like kind of something along the line of like, do as I say, not as I do. You know what I mean? Where it's like she'll always kind of give you the right advice to do, but she might not take it herself,
Yeah.
So
I'm a
yeah,
mom, I get that.
yeah. So that's my kind of thought on fake it till you make it. There's no point because
Mhm.
how are you like consistency's hard. So to be consistently not yourself, insane.
Well,
Insane. Couldn't do
on
it.
that note,
Yeah.
there's a reason I do this live
Yeah.
because people always ask me, like, "Is it gonna be live?" And I'm like, "It should be." And I don't care if there's 2 people here, I don't care if there's 80 people here, it doesn't matter to me because the reason it's live is because I don't edit. And
You
I'm
get the real
exactly who
deal.
I say that I am in the DMs when I'm talking to someone, when I invite them on. I'm the same person when in my community when I'm talking to the people that I hang out with, whatever, in a voice chat. I'm the same live as I am in person. Like it's the same thing. And that means everything to me, my integrity, my reputation, and who I am, and my, the level of trust I hope that people have in me. I have to be me. I've not been myself for 20 something years. So the opportunity to be out there and to do what I want to do, I'm going to do it being me. And if you don't like it, there's click somewhere else. It's not a
Yeah.
big deal.
There's no better feeling than being yourself, you
Life is
know?
too short. Life is too short.
Agreed. I super agree. I wanted to like I do want to touch base on like the my circle too, because I am very thankful by my circle of people I'm surrounded with because you know coming up in like music, and there's a lot of uncertainty that goes into that because you don't know what the next thing is.
Right.
Nothing's guaranteed, nothing's promised. But I used to feel that like a little nervous where I'm like, oh man, like what is the next thing? Now, I'm thankful to say I've completely lost that feeling because I know that if I was on my worst day, down bad, terrible, everything was falling apart,
Right.
I have such a good support circle that I'd be good. I'd be super good because, they would either, I mean, beyond opportunity that my homies would, give me to help me get out of whatever situation I was in, they would also check me. They'd be like, Mike, I don't, whatever you're doing right now, not it. Like, get it together, dude. You know what I mean? So I
Right.
think having people in your life that'll check you and, just keep it honest with you. That's more valuable than a yes man or, someone who's just always telling your stuff is cool. Like, I'd much rather someone just be brutally honest, and there's a way to be. So I started like reviewing some songs on TikTok. I've been doing that a lot recently. And what I've learned too, and I've known this, but I'm applying it now is that there's a way to give constructive criticism without being mean. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like don't focus on what you don't like, focus on what people can improve. That's like the thing. It's like don't say, "Oh, I don't like those drums you did." Just be like, "Hey man, like maybe if you did the drums in this order, you could get like a better result." You know what I mean? So I think when you're giving people constructive criticism, there's an art to giving people constructive criticism, I think.
No,
So
I
yeah.
completely agree with you because
Yeah.
there's, I'm around a lot of reactors, so
Yeah.
they're critiquing songs. And there's a way to do it where you're not just like clickbaiting by being trolly and mean and hateful and just being nasty. I
Yeah.
also, and this is another one of that behind the scenes thing, people, people, while they're making their music. Hey, Kat. I'm gonna send you something I'm working on real quick. Tell me what you think. Hey, Kat, will you check this out real quick? And it's because I'm a listener. I'm not creating the music. I'm not a composer. I don't make beats, but I have an ear and I've
And
listened
there's
to
value in that. There's a
enough.
lot of value in that. It's
I've listened
funny.
to enough where I can sort of start to articulate it, not well, but they kind of can translate because I'm like, that thing where it did the thing, but it was back there, and I don't know why it was kind of on this side, but it was like back here, and the vocals were like here. I was like, oh yeah, yeah, so I can come across somehow,
No,
but
and I think
it
that's
is
really cool.
valuable. I mean,
It is.
it's fun. I don't have to be like, oh my god, what are you doing? I'll be like, I think that like my ear started bleeding when you hit that note, but aside from that, we're good.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of value in that because pretty much everything, like a song, merch, anything that I'm doing, I kind of send it to my circle first just to like
Right.
feel it out and just see, how they're feeling about it, right? And just get knee-jerk reactions for like people that I trust their opinion of, and I know that they'll like not just tell me it's cool and like they'll actually listen to it and like really just like
Hmm.
get into it and tell me what they like, what they don't like. Uh, because if they don't tell me, and I drop it, once it's out, there's nothing I can do. But it's like, please check this out now because if there is something that is really noticing you and bothering you, I can kind of think it through, and there is an opportunity to change it before it goes out to the world. You know,
Exactly.
so
And I think that people underestimate the value of what Skulls used to tell me was called the pure listener, which is the person who is consuming the music versus the person creating it. And when you have an ear that is when you're thinking of something or humming something and you literally could turn it into a song, I
yeah,
can't, right? So the way that my brain is processing it is not in a creative way, more so as it's literally listening to what's already there. It's not changing or improving it. It's just hearing it and deciding what it thinks about what's there, right?
yeah,
Which is something that people also tend to like when people get in these really tight little artist groups, like real tight, and they all like bounce off each other. That's great. Collaboration's wonderful. And I
yeah,
think that people knowledge is power, and there's no reason not to share if there's something that you can help somebody with. But they get in these little echo chambers of their own making where they're all artists and they forget sometimes to get that outside opinion, that outside view as to someone who isn't listening and saying, "Oh, well that hi-hat hit this and this and that that was a what is it called? A multi-syllable rhyme scheme that you wrote for
yeah,
like 16 bars." They don't know that. They're like, "Man, that sounds kind of cool." Or, "Man, that just kept going. Why is it still going?" Like I've heard somebody
yeah,
ride that out for like more than 16 bars. I'm like, "Holy cow." But it was in a good way, not a bad way, and you can tell them that. Like that sounded
yeah.
nice, and people
It's
underestimate that and they get stuck in this little loop
it's
of their
kinda like the spectator of the chess game, you know what I mean?
mm,
Like, the spectator of the chess game can really see what's going on. Like,
absolutely.
dude, I was watching somebody play chess pretty recently, and, I obviously you can't say something when they're playing in chess, it's a little different, but, man, I was biting my tongue, I was like, "Dude, there's such a good play for you to make," but it's crazy because sometimes when you're in it, it's harder to see the move to make, and not saying
Exactly.
my move was the grand all move, but I just was like, "Yo, if you do that, you're gonna take out his queen."
Yeah.
You know?
By the way, shout out to the chat, and specifically, I'm gonna call out Stacy just joined. The
What's up,
good friend.
Stacy?
I love Stacy to pieces. Um, but no, the people that have been here have coming in and out. I know people are lurking as well. So appreciate all you guys, and then people that listen back later. Appreciate you guys as well.
Appreciate you
But
guys, for real, for real.
see, and that's the thing is that I think that's the problem with like being in an echo chamber where you have all the yes men, right?
Yeah,
Is that they're just there because, and that's when I feel like if you're surrounded by yes men, right? Or women, whatever,
yeah,
you actually, that's not a them problem, that's a you problem.
yeah,
Because
because
you are being the type of person that is not only seems to require that people agree with you, but you're accepting that the people around you are only telling you what you want to hear. And so that's a thing that you have to fix. You don't want that. I mean, I don't want that. I know you don't either, but
Yeah, I know this story oh too well. Like the same artist whose team I quit, it was the same thing. And when I would say something, I'm just like, yo, man, I don't think that's the best. Like the team ended up walking on eggshells because he couldn't say anything. You say
right.
the wrong thing, mood is done for the day. Like you can't even. And I almost like partially feel bad because it's like I just feel bad that they're clearly in a place that like they can't take criticism, and that's probably a lot of some work that they probably have to do for themselves. You know what I mean? Like
Exactly. It's a them
yeah,
problem. They're the one. They're the person that's in the middle of the circle that everyone's standing around saying, "Oh, whatever you think." Oh, yeah, sure, sure. The person standing in the middle, they're the problem.
well, and you know what too, because as I'm like growing, because I've learned a lot. You know what I mean? A lot of people have compared me kind of to like an industry sponge because I've worked with so many different artists, and it's like, oh, I learned a little bit from working with Chris Webby. I learned a little bit from working with Watsky. I learned a little bit from working with Devon Terrell, Sammy Adams, everybody that, you know what I mean? So it's like getting that little bit of information kind of got squeezed together and made, this guy. So I've learned a
Yeah.
lot in that way. And I just think it's like I lost my train of thought. I'm not gonna lie. What were we talking about right before?
We were talking about how it was basically it's the person. I was saying the person's fault that's in
In
the
the
middle
center.
of the
Yeah, and I don't know exactly where I was going with it, but it would have been a great point. But this is who I am. I just like I go on tangents. Sometimes I forget, but it'll come back. It'll
No, I
come
do
back.
too. I go on rants. I'll just sit here, get up on my soapbox, and I'll rant about something, and then I'll turn around and be like, and I'll try to segue back, and I'm like, oh wait, hold on. Okay, so anyway, how are you doing? You I
I
try and
remember
transition.
the
Oh, you
train
do?
came back. The train
Oh,
came back. Yeah.
good.
So the thought is that you know, and this kind of goes back to the person in the circle. As I'm trying to become that person in the circle, anybody who I work with, anybody, one of the first things I say is because I know what it's like to be on the other side. And this is why I say this. If there is an issue, a problem, or anything, please just come talk to me because I'm sure like some of the time I might not even be aware that it's an issue until like and I don't want you to have any malicious feelings. Like I don't want you to pent that up. Like just talk to me because a lot of the time I'm sure it could be a quick fix. Like I don't
Exactly.
think so I really pride myself in my communication with my circle because I want everybody happy. Like if someone in my circle feels like they're not winning, then I'm not winning. You know what I mean? My entire circle has to win in order for me to win. That's what a real leader is like.
No, I completely agree. I mean, the fact is that you know you have to be able to take the criticism or a disagreement. And I mean, there's something. It's actually in the description of the video where it says, I'm 100% here to, if I offend you, then I'm good with that. Like I'm kind of here
Yeah,
for that. One of the big things that we started when this podcast started was having people on specifically that didn't agree, because I think that there's always a way to,
it's a
and
good conversation.
let's say that there's a polarizing, let's say, and I'm not going to talk about it, I'm just saying as an example, politics. Like if I say
Okay.
this and then they say that, well, they're entitled to their opinion. There's only like two subjects in the world that I don't care who you are, that's not okay. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. But everything else, you can have your opinion, just say why. And I'll listen.
Yeah.
You listen back, but the only thing that I'm like, don't try to convince me of your opinion. You don't try to force me to just to listen to what you're saying. There's no reason that people can't communicate and be
I-
respectful about it.
there you go. You hit it. You hit it.
I
It's all
mean,
just about respecting people,
yeah,
It's
well, you
like,
have to give a lot of respect in order to get it. Like I've said before, my consistency, like my transparency as to who I am as a person, and when I talk to people, when I communicate in like instant messages and stuff, I try to be that I am. I don't try. I mean, I just am myself. But that's the thing is it's like my reputation to me means everything. I've been able to talk to people that have seen me around, but whatever, they don't know me like that, and say, "Look, I can help you. Ask anybody. They'll vouch for me. They'll claim me, you know, but I want
yeah.
to help you because I know you need someone you can trust." And so I've actually, I've jumped in and taken over Discord servers and revamped the whole thing. They handed me the reins, like, here you go, based off a reputation. And that's something that's priceless. It's absolutely priceless, is to be dependent on. And you have so many people that depend on you. They just know that if they need something, you got them.
Yeah, and
And it's going to come out amazing.
I do feel that. I do feel that sometimes. Like sometimes I'll just sit there and just be like, "Yo, there are a lot of people depending on me right now," and I'm happy to be that guy. But sometimes I'm just like, "Wow, if I don't do anything right now, then this falls apart." So I'm just like, let me keep it together. Yeah.
I read a lot. Like, if you don't see me active on some social media, in my Discord, or like if people haven't seen me in a couple hours, I'm reading.
Yeah.
I'm an
So
obsessive reader, and that is my escape. That's how I have to wind down, because my brain is just won't stop.
yeah. Yeah, I think I just keep going until I'm tired. That's and then I knock out. But you said something, and I don't know what you said exactly, but it made me have this thought. And it's something that my dad used to say to me. And you don't like need to be the best in the world. Like I don't my goals aren't to be the best producer. My goals aren't to be the best. Like most of the time people work with people is because they like them. It's not because they're the best. Because if you're the best and you're terrible as a person,
Yep.
doesn't even matter how good you are. Doesn't
Yep.
matter because no one's gonna want to work with you. But if you're like, and I do think I'm good at my craft. I do think I'm good at my craft. So I'm not trying to play it down, but I don't think you need to be the best. Like you're almost better off being a good person and being okay at what you do, because if you're a good person and you show that you're trying to level up and improve, people are going to want to be around you and be a part of that journey of you leveling up and being like, dang, I remember when Mike was shooting $50 videos. Now look, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I think it's important to be a good person. It's like that simple.
Well,
Like
I mean,
all
think about it
situations.
as the scale. Think of the scales, right?
Oh yeah.
And think of that, being a decent human being, being a nice person, being kind, being respectful, being trustworthy, right? It weighs more than your skill level.
1,000%.
I mean, that's for most people. That's why I have brought people on the podcast that are like, there's been some really, for me at least, really big artists that have been on, and there's been some tiny ones, but I like them. They're good people, right? And it doesn't matter that they're not the best out of everybody. What matters is that they're hustling, they're grinding, they're doing their thing, and they're trying to get better, and they're trying to get themselves out there. That means more to me than, somebody who just kind of, you know,
1,000% too. I actually just had this conversation the other day with one of my friends, but one of my friends, he doesn't do like a lot of featured songs, right? And but he did one. He did one for this homie, and he didn't like. I'm not gonna say any names, but he didn't think his homie was like the best artist in the world.
mhm,
He told me that in confidence. Uh, but he said, dude, he's like, I love that dude. He's like, and I know he's gonna get better. He's like, I
mhm,
know he's gonna get better because he's just starting out, right? So he's
right.
like, I know he's gonna get better. So that's why I'm willing to work with him and make it happen because I like him as a person and I think he's got potential. So I think it's really cool to catch people early on in their careers too, because you also never know where people end up. And this is also why it's so important to be like, first of all, outside of like career things, it's just important to be nice to people for the sake of your livelihood. I can't go to sleep. Like, I'm one of those people where it's like, oh man, did I say the wrong thing? Did I upset that person? Like, let me text them and get in front of it. I actually have a friend that I let down recently, and I was able to rekindle that because and it was super my fault. And that's the thing, you got to be able to admit when it's your fault,
Yeah,
right?
own your mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah, because and I was a terrible friend in this instant, but it's just like life, life causes things like this, right? So my friend had a show and I told him I was going to go and I didn't make it out. I didn't even give a courtesy text. Terrible. Terrible. Not a good friend. Good friends don't do that. Uh and then we had a studio session that I completely spaced on. And it was like around the time of like Christmas, New Year. So there is a lot going on for me, like family stuff and that. Still not an excuse though. I told him that. I was like, still not an excuse. But I just was like, I could tell he was mad at me. So I finally connected with him and I was like, dude, like, bro, first of all, obviously I love you. Anything that like me not going and me forgetting about that is like more a reflection of me. Like I genuinely forgot, and me not going to the show was not cool. But
Right.
I really like that's not me disrespecting you. That's just more me being an idiot. You know what I mean? Because it's like, dude, I got so much love for you, and we end up squashing it out. But that's the thing. Like in life, you're gonna make mistakes, right? You know, and
Right.
I view that as a mistake I made, and you just got to be able to own it because what's the other path? Me just not talking for him for the rest of my life? That's whack. You know what I mean? So
No,
I don't
exactly.
know if you can if you're in a like and obviously there people do some messed up things too, and it makes you not want to like you know what I mean that wasn't like as unforgivable as like things that other people can do, right? But you know, I think trying to rekindle relationships that are over small things like that are important. And it just goes back to communication, right? You just got to have good communication.
No,
And
absolutely.
it's not always easy, but like you got to prioritize it. Because had I had texted him before the show, probably wouldn't have even been as big a deal. But I just like, you know, what I mean, 1 hour turned to two, and then I just wasn't there.
No,
So
I get that. I'm gonna
yeah,
post. I'm putting up a question from in
okay,
the chat.
okay. Got anything cooking with Pimo? Currently no. We haven't been in the studio recently, and yeah, I got a lot of songs cooking. I have so many songs because I'm working on this 50 stage challenge, right? And yeah, I got a lot of songs cooking, but unfortunately none with P right now. But maybe in the near future.
Like I said, you're doing all the things.
Yeah,
And
doing all the things.
honestly, let me just be sincere. Okay?
Yes.
Really smart to do. I want to work with an artist from every one of the 50 states. That's really smart.
I can't take credit for the idea. I can't take it was my dude Cakes Mitchell's idea who's helping with the entire project. And that's the thing. Also, acknowledging when you need help is a huge thing
Mhm.
because, you know, towards the end of last year, I had a game plan for 2023 that I just wasn't confident on. And I had a day where I was like, this isn't going to work. I just knew it wasn't going to work. I wasn't feeling like I really still want to do those projects, but I just knew in that moment it wasn't the play that was going to like push the needle for me.
Mhm.
So I ended up talking to my homie Atlas for a long time. And the day that I called, he probably doesn't even know this, but the day that I called him, I was just like, just going through it. I just was like, I don't even know. Like, I didn't tell him this, but I just was trying to revamp. And he was like, dude, it's like, you got to get posted on TikTok more. Your TikTok is just not it right now. He's like, you're not posting consistent enough. He's like, I know you can do it. You just got to do it. He's like, do some skits, stuff like that. So, I mean, that in itself, like, really motivated me. And then I reached out to my dude, Cakes Mitchell, and I just was like, yo, man, can I just hire you for a consultation? Please. Like, just talk. He's like, when are you trying to do it? I'm like, right now. Like, let's do it as soon as you can. So I ended up hopping on a call and we were just brainstorming and like, because after Atlas told me he's like, step up your TikTok, I called one of my homies who I know is great at TikTok. And we were just brainstorming. He's like, well, what if you do a song with an artist from all 50 states? And I just was like thinking, I was like, dude, I think I could actually, because I've toured a lot and I've worked with a lot of different artists. So I'm not saying it's not going to be a challenge because it is going to be a challenge. It's going to be hard. There are going to be days where I'm going to desperately want to quit. I already know. But I think I actually got this one. I think I can do this. I think I'm the guy to pull this one off. So it was his idea. And I've never been more excited day to day getting up out of bed with this project that I'm working on. Like between that and some life changes I've made recently, like I feel like I'm getting into peak Mike Squires right now, which I'm very excited about.
No,
So
that's awesome. That's
it's a
that's a
great
feeling
feeling.
that we all want. We all want
Yeah.
to wake up and be like, hell yeah, let's do another
Yeah.
day.
And it gives
And
me
I'm
something it gives me something to do and there's like a bigger picture to it. And like I like that idea where it's like, and it's also a goal that's like it's not a quick goal to pull off. It's gonna take me at least I mean, I've already put months into it already and I haven't even started. The song rollout alone is a year. You know what I mean? So it's gonna
well,
be yeah.
it's really, really smart.
I think it'll
Okay.
be fun. Yeah.
And here's why I'm saying that. Okay. You're increasing your reach. Okay. So let's say, I mean, this isn't as much anymore as it used to be. It used to be like you'd be known on the East Coast, you get known on the West Coast, or like you just have these circles that you're around. You know, people in Arizona, but there's just these ones that you miss, right?
Yeah.
You're literally putting your
Flag in every
yeah,
state.
you're doing it in every single state. So
Yeah.
and you're shouting out the states, which people love. You're going to be, shouting out an artist, which people love.
And
I
it's
mean,
also
it's all the things. I mean, it's
it's
really smart. It's really
it's
smart.
it's going to give to a lot of opportunity too for because there's a
Absolutely.
lot of states I don't have. So it's going to give opportunity for people to wave the flag for their artists. When I'm looking for North Dakota, who is it?
Dakota.
Everybody from North Dakota, let me know. You know,
Dakota.
Dakota, yeah, Dakota.
Dakota.
It's
Minnesota.
funny. So, my girlfriend's sister's husband's name is Dakota, and he just started producing music. And I thought it would be hilarious to have him do co-production on North and South Dakota because his name is Dakota. No other reason. I just thought it was silly.
Oh, that's
Um,
funny. It really
yeah,
is.
so I definitely want to have him do that.
Well, before we start wrapping this up, because we've almost hit an hour at this point already.
Yes.
Before we do that, is there anything that you want to bring up? Anything that you have? I mean, obviously, you've got this big project coming down, down
Yeah.
the line. Anything that you want to share, or anything that you think is like really cool or a highlight, or
In the past, I feel like I've used these moments for like self promo, but I don't want to do that today. Today, I just want to say out there if anybody has a dream or something that they want to chase, the key is just to get started. You just got to get up and do it. Even if it's a little step, even if it's just the mindset, like anything. So if you're trying to be a video guy like I was, just put the money aside, start putting the money aside to get the camera equipment and just try to start shooting like anything. So, and every goal that you have in life is going to be different, but you can put yourself in position. I think it just all starts with mindset and just say you're going to go do it and then don't think about it. Just go do it. Don't put it off. If a month goes by and you haven't done anything, today's the day to start. Like, you know what I mean? Because like you said, life is short. And you
absolutely.
don't want to get to the back end and say you didn't do it, especially if it's something you want to do.
And that's pretty much. Can anybody figure out why? I think I was really excited to talk to you. That right there just proved it. That's it right there.
I feel
And
like my
on
values, I feel like I'm turning into motivation Mike, but I really do like I live what I preach, So
well, and you're one of those people. It seems like if you can help somebody, you want to. Like if
exactly.
something you've been through, something you've learned, and it doesn't matter if it's big, small, it doesn't matter. You want to share it because maybe that'll help with that person at this time that needed it. They just needed to hear that. And
I listen.
I can tell you how I changed everything. And somebody said something at a random moment. I used to have a park up the street. I moved since then, but there was a park and they had ducks, and people would walk around the outside of the pond, you know.
Yeah.
And I was really like I didn't know anybody, and I didn't want to get out of the car. So I was talking, and I will shout her out, Nova Rockefeller. I was talking to her, and I was like, Nova, I'm sitting here, and I feel weird because I don't know any of these people, and they're just walking. And she's like, get the fuck out of the car. That's what she told me. And so the
Yeah, you
next
gotta
day,
say
I
what
went
you
up
gotta do.
there, got out of the car, went close up, took all the pictures of all the ducks, posted them everywhere. And she's like,
I love that.
you got out of the car. I was like, I got the fuck out of the car.
That's getting started. That's the first thing.
And that it literally every time that I'm like, I'm like, get the hell out, get out of the car. Like I literally that goes through my head. And she did that because it hit different when she said it for some reason. I needed to hear it. So
Yeah, everybody's gotta get out the car. Like, you know what I mean?
I do.
Everybody's gotta get out the car.
Mm-hmm.
That's like if they got
Absolutely.
a dream, the first step is getting out the car.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Yeah.
can't thank you enough for being here, for, hanging out with me, for talking with me. And, I enjoyed it. I think you're an amazing person. I am
I appreciate
excited
that.
to watch what you do this year. I know all the stuff you've got going on. I just think you're just going to keep going up and up and up, honestly.
I hope so. I'm just very thankful that I've been able to do it for this long, and I hope to continue to do it because I don't take it for granted. And I know things can change like that. And I super appreciate you having me on. This was a great time, and I really enjoyed the conversation we had.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody who showed up in the stream, everyone that's listening later. Um, definitely, definitely. Anytime that you ever have something coming down the pike and you want to, get up and talk about it or just for funsies, let me
Yeah.
know. You open door, honestly.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe we'll touch base in like 6 months. I don't know. Whatever. You let me know. How about that? Like, let's
I got
let's
you.
a little time progress, and I'll be back.
No, I got you. I got people that started a year ago that are coming back now.
That's
Like they're
awesome.
on their
Yeah,
second or third time. So I feel that. No,
I
I'll
would love to have.
definitely hit you up.
Yeah, I'd love to have a conversation, like even in the midst of the 50 states thing, or afterwards, just to
Like
kind of see where my
progress.
head. Yeah, also just to see where my head's at.
Sanity
Hopefully I'm not,
check.
yeah, hopefully I'm not losing my mind. But awesome. Thank you so much.
Not a problem. You guys, everybody, you guys have a great day. It is Saturday. Go have a fun, get out there, do something. I don't know, or click on something, whatever works. Do your thing. Enjoy. If you have family, go hang out with them, watch a show, whatever.
Let's
I'm
go.
going to jump off of here. I'm probably going to read my book and then actually don't have any plans. So,
Enjoy your night.
all right, everybody. You guys have a good one. We're out of here.